Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make Star Ocean. Now, Star Ocean takes 3 of the EEPROMs, and because these are pretty old EEPROMs, and the way we're going to have to make Star Ocean, we're going to have to marry 2 of these together. I want to clean the legs. So, I just have a little Dremel tool here with a little brass wheel. It's just important that I get a really good, clean surface on these pins. And so, of course, I've already programmed them, and so we're just going to clean them. ROM number 2 is not as critical for clean legs, but you know, these are very old parts, and the silvering on them is certainly not what it used to be. And so it just if you don't have a Dremel with a wheel, you can use a razor blade, which is what I used to use. Just kind of scrape them clean on a flat surface so you don't, bend the legs everywhere. Oops. And try not to drop them. It wasn't the tool, that was just me. Okay, so now for the boring part. Put everything together. Okay, so I'm gonna set it up. I hope you can see this here. We're gonna remove this resistor right here. I'm not sure if that's a bad focus or if my eyes are just terrible, but I think you can see that. So we're going to remove that. We're going to bridge this little point here, and then we're going to do mappers 1 and 3. Oh, and then we're going to also do the what ROM type for ROM number 2. Okay, so let's get started. Now, to remove the resistor R2, it's pretty simple. I just heat it up. I just put iron on one end and heat it up, and it just kind of slides right off. Okay, so that was pretty darn easy. And that's a 0 ohm resistor, so if you ever need to go back for whatever crazy reason that might be, you can just do a soldered glob there and it'll work fine. Okay, so now let's do the mappers. Okay, the ROM type. Now the ROMs. Okay, we're going to do, so here's my ROM number 1. Okay, so ROM number 1 goes here. Remember, chips do have orientation, notches. Make sure you get that right. Okay, and it's important that ROM 1 kind of fits all the way in. Okay, and then what we're going to do with ROM 1, we're going to cut a couple of the legs. We're going to cut where it says SOA23. We're going to cut this leg right here, just kind of flush. Okay. And then we're going to cut this other leg that's right here between these two. Holes. Okay, I got that cut. Now we're going to take ROM 3. We're going to make sure its orientation matches this one, because I have put them on backwards before, and it kind of sucks. Okay, so I'm just lining them up, leg to leg. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so you can see how they touch each other, except for those two pins we just cut. Alright, so now the fun part. I'm going to kind of do a drag solder. I'm going to solder the hole first, and here at the bottom, and then I'm going to kind of run my iron up the leg so they kind of marry each other. Let's see if I can zoom in on this a little. Okay, hopefully my big head won't get in the way. So this is the boring part. So I will kind of fill the time with some information. The Star Ocean, you can generally find it on Google. Some website somewhere's got it. And Star Ocean was originally Japanese, and it was translated into English by the DJAP team. And but anyway, so Star Ocean is not normally English, and normally it uses a special chip to do a decompression. So this obviously doesn't use a special chip. So this was converted by someone a whole lot smarter than me, and so I thank him for that. So got to make sure all the pins connect and are soldered. Very important. Very important. Okay, so I'm hitting the hole where it solders the hole, and then I'm just going to run my iron up with some solder so the two pins will kind of join together. So it's hard to do with the camera above you. Okay, so now I'll do the other side. So anyway, so the Delta patch, I believe there's a link on the YouTube video where you can download the patch. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just click here, make sure this Star Ocean file is, in the same folder, and it'll spit out, the 3 ROMs that I'm using right now. So this board has been a long work in progress, but so far it seems to be working fantastic. In fact, I've already sold out, other than the ones that I'm keeping for myself. So I'm going to be making another run here, another batch here pretty soon. Okay, so now the 2 legs that we cut, we need to go back and solder those from the top. Okay, so since I can't see the camera, I'm hoping my big head is not covering all the pictures. Find out in a minute. Okay, so we're almost done here. with this one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is on the top side, if you notice right here, that one didn't get any solder, and maybe that one too. So, so the two pins that we cut from ROM 1, we're going to go back and solder, top solder those, just to make sure. So that was that one, and that's this one. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to bend over the two pins above the ones we cut. So I'm going to take this, and you want to bend them over. This one has two holes, if you notice. So you want to put it in the one that where it says SO, right there. So we're going to bend this over. Be very careful not to break it off. That totally sucks too when you break the pen off from the chip. Okay, we're going to solder that on. And we're going to do the same thing for this side. Let's make sure, yeah. So it's this one. Now you don't have to bend the pins over. That's what I do. I mean, if you want to put a little jumper there or a solder leg or something, you know, and just run it up, I just bend them over. All right, so now those are done. Okay, just want to make sure that the pin below it is not making contact with the pin above it. Okay, so now I'm pretty much done with these two. I'm just going to bend these legs over. Okay, so that's where we are. Now we're going to put on ROM number 2. Okay, like I said, this one is not as critical. I want to make sure our orientation is correct. It is. So as soon as I solder this one on, we should have a working Star Ocean game. Oh, anyways, I was talking about the Delta patch. The Delta patch will take a Japanese ROM and it'll convert it. It'll spit out 3, images for Star Ocean ROMs, what I'm using here. And the ROM images will only work on this board. If you try and use it on a different board or someone else's or your own homebrew or whatever, it's not going to work. So the Delta patch was kind of made, custom made for this board, for this mounting style. Also, you don't have to back mount the ROM. I like back mounting it because I think it fits in the cartridge better. You can piggyback them, and just bend those 2 legs out, to make connection with those 2 holes. So you could have 2 chips piggybacked one on top of each other, with those 2 legs, not touching each other again. But when I do that method, there's a little bump in the cartridge case that the ROMs hit, and it doesn't make a perfect close. And I kind of showed that in I think a previous video, but anyways, I like back mounting. I think it's just the better way to go. Okay, let's see. Battery's the only thing left. So let's stick the battery in. Okay, so I want to make sure I got everything. I'm just going to kind of double check and make sure that all these pins, did marry. So I'm just going to do a real quick inspection here, real quick with the magnifiers, and so far they all look good. There's one that might need just a little more here. So I'm just gonna get this one here real quick. Okay, they look good. Alright, moment of truth. I did everything right, and our game should come up. And there you go. That is Star Ocean. My video is at 17 minutes. The only thing I didn't show is me actually doing the patch and burning the ROMs. Hope it didn't bore you too much, and have fun.
Our ship has completed its mission of deep space investigation right on schedule. Now we're heading home.
Would you like some coffee, Captain?
Yes, I'd like to. Thank you.
Captain, we've just picked up a huge amount of unidentified energy.
Where?
Mark 301.209 in